This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Well, good day. I'm Elena Rusk. And new at noon, the Kern County Sheriff's Office updated the sign on Highway 178 at the mouth of the canyon this morning to reflect the number of people who have drowned in the Kern River since 1968. This year, the sign will now read 317 lives lost. This comes after a 9-year-old Los Angeles boy drowned in the river in April and a 41-year-old man from Santa Ana drowned in August. Officials update the sign every year in an effort to remind the public about the danger of the river. They say anyone should be accompanied by a professional like a rafting company or just avoid the river completely. In lighter news, happening tomorrow, Bakersfield spray parks will turn on for the season. But in light of the state's drought conditions, the city of Bakersfield's Recreation and Parks Department will operate its spray parks on reduced hours this summer from 1 to 6 each day, Wednesday through Sunday. The spray parks will be closed on Mondays, except for holidays, and Tuesdays as a water conservation measure. The city says the hours and days of operation are subject to change based on the drought conditions during the summer. The parks will then shut down for the season on Labor Day, Monday, September 5th. And now to education news. Bakersfield Congressman Kevin McCarthy held the 23rd Congressional District of California's Merit Award ceremony yesterday, celebrating hardworking students who have gone above and beyond in the classroom. It happened at the Kern High School District office in Southwest Bakersfield.
What I like to do is I like to honor the best and brightest here, and I created an award when I first went into office, not just academically. Many of them are tops in their class, but also to look at their character and their leadership. I want them to know that they're, one, doing a good job, but as they go away to college, I want them to think about coming back here and serving.
All right, some awards were also given to trailblazing teachers. And check this out, a professor at Bakersfield College has been selected to receive a national grant. The Whiting Foundation has announced the grant recipients for 11 public humanities projects, with one recipient for $50,000 going to Bakersfield College's history professor, Dr. Oliver Rosales. Dr. Rosales will utilize this grant funding to work with cultural heritage organizations and historic landmark sites in the San Joaquin Valley, creating a series of virtual and in-person events to teach educators about history in rural California and to train them to lead digital story mapping projects with their students. The project will culminate in the publication of freely accessible teaching modules associated with each historic landmark, which will help teachers meet California's new high school ethnic studies requirement with depth and nuance. That's awesome. And now looking ahead, hundreds of women will be seen marching through East Bakersfield tomorrow. The Mothers Against Gang Violence 500 Women March will begin at 2 p.m. Saturday on Cottonwood and Bell Terrace. The march will then head north on Cottonwood to MLK Boulevard, down to California Avenue, and continuing west until they reach MLK Park. Mothers, grandmothers, aunts, sisters, and more say they are coming together on a mission to help their communities thrive and become safer from gang violence, domestic violence, and any form of violence that harms their families. And then looking ahead to Sunday, the 22nd Annual Latino Food Festival returns to Bakersfield. Head out to the Kern County Museum from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. to join in the fun. This year's festival will feature a menudo and pozole cook-off, along with live music on 3 stages, a kids camp, a jalapeno eating contest, and more. Also this weekend, the Lightning in a Bottle Music Festival is underway at Buena Vista Lake. The event kicked off Wednesday and lasts through the weekend, so keep in mind the lake is closed to boaters and recreation through June 3rd as a result of this festival. It was canceled back in 2020 and 21 due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Headliners include Glass Animals, Big Wild, and Purity Ring. And of course, this weekend centered around our local Memorial Day events. Beginning tomorrow, the Bakersfield Breakfast Rotary Club will hold its 8th annual 1,000 Flags event at the park at Riverwalk. The flags honoring service members and first responders will fly starting Saturday at noon through 3 p.m. on Memorial Day. And the Bakersfield National Cemetery in Arvin is hosting its annual Memorial Day ceremony tomorrow at 9 a.m. That event open to the public. Families can place flags on their loved one's gravesite from 7 to 8:30 a.m. Now looking ahead to Monday, the historic Union Cemetery will conduct its annual Memorial Day ceremony at 9 a.m. Volunteers are needed to place flags on each veteran gravesite today at 4 p.m. and then come help remove the flags Monday at 2. Also on Monday, a ceremony to reflect and pay tribute to our fallen heroes and their families will take place at Hillcrest Park and Mortuary. That is at 11 a.m. at 9101 Kern Canyon Road. Now we have all the information on these events and more posted on our website. Just head over to kget.com and click on the hot link icon. Also keep in mind that Monday is a federal holiday. Schools and banks are closed. The city of Bakersfield's administrative offices also closed, but they say trash and recycling services are not expected to be impacted. Now, while the important part of this somber holiday is to honor our fallen, we also know many people will be spending the long weekend with family. And since many family gatherings are centered around the grill or a fire, experts are warning of the most common ways people are accidentally burned, especially children. Tiziana Clark, the burn unit manager from the Grossman Burn Center at Bakersfield Memorial Hospital, joined us on Sunrise this morning to help parents understand what we should and should not do to treat minor burns at home.
First, remove yourself from whatever is causing that burn injury, and then apply cool water for 3 to 5 minutes. And if it's a smaller burn, you probably don't need to seek medical treatment, but if it's a larger burn, then you need to come into the hospital, into Memorial Hospital, and we can see you. Do not put toothpaste on it. Do not put mustard on it.
I was going to ask,
Just cool water.
What about ice?
In fact, no ice.
Okay.
Ice will also hold the heat and make the injury worse.
Now, when you're dealing with a first-degree burn, she says it will be red and painful, but with intact skin. A second-degree burn then involves blistering. A third-degree burn turns white with destruction of the skin in that area. Clark says if a burn is larger than your palm size, second degree or more on your hands, feet, face, genitalia, or any joint, you need to go to the hospital.
Hello, this is Tim Callahan with Clinica Sierra Vista, and we're excited to unveil the Community Health Center of the Future, our comprehensive care center. It's located right across the street from Memorial Hospital. We have every service under one roof, from family medicine, OBGYN care, dental services for adults and children, behavioral health, and much more. So find your way to better care at Clinica Sierra Vista this year at our comprehensive care center. Visit our website, clinicasierravista.org, for the latest on this project. We'll see you soon.
While making news around the state, the Biden administration has proposed using 5 areas off the California coast to build offshore wind turbines. The development plan included 3 areas near Morro Bay and San Luis Obispo, and 2 off the Humboldt County coast. It is part of an overall effort to put wind turbines along every coastline in the country. The goal is to generate 30 gigawatts of power by 2030, and California plans to remove fossil fuels from the power grid entirely by 2045. Well, now to the coronavirus, the White House has announced more steps to make the antiviral treatment Paxlovid more accessible across the U.S. as it projects COVID-19 infections will continue to spread over the summer travel season. The nation's first federally backed test-to-treat site opened yesterday in Rhode Island. The site will provide patients with immediate access to the drug once they test positive. More federally supported sites are set to open in the coming weeks in Massachusetts and New York City, both hit as marked rises of infections. Next week, the U.S. will then send authorized federal prescribers to several Minnesota-run testing sites, turning them into test-to-treat locations. So now let's take a look at the COVID-19 case numbers here in Kern County as Public Health updated their dashboard today to reflect 919 new positive cases and 5 new deaths attributed to the virus. State data shows we have 30 patients hospitalized here in Kern County with COVID and 5 patients admitted in intensive care units. Now to your 17 Health Watch, the FDA is warning against a viral TikTok hack showing how to keep avocados fresh for weeks. The hack involves submerging whole avocados in water and storing them in the fridge. But the FDA says placing avocados in water actually provides the perfect opportunity to breed salmonella and allow other harmful bacteria to multiply. The agency says even disinfecting the avocado skin prior to slicing it would not remove that contamination. Well, now to your 17 Business Watch. An inflation gauge closely tracked by the Federal Reserve rose 6.3% in April from a year earlier, just below a 4-decade high set in March, and the first slowdown since November 2020. Today's report from the Commerce Department added to other recent signs showing that while high inflation continues to cause hardships for millions of households, it may finally be moderating, at least for now. The report also showed that consumer spending rose by a healthy 0.9% from March to April, outpacing the month-to-month inflation rate for a fourth straight time. Now, the number of homes for sale in the country is on the rise. The supply of homes for sale jumped 9% last week compared with the same week a year ago, according to Realtor.com. Real estate brokerage Redfin also reported that new listings rose nearly twice as fast in the last 4 weeks as they did during the same period last year. Now, sellers are looking to take advantage of the still hot real estate market before it cools down dramatically in the wake of rising interest rates. Those rising rates have already led to a decline in home sales. All right, another day, another record set for California gas prices. We were telling you yesterday the statewide average price for a gallon of regular unleaded hit a new high record yesterday at $6.07. That was according to AAA. It has now been more than 2 months since state lawmakers promised relief to Californians in response to rising inflation and this soaring cost of gas. A bipartisan group of Republicans and moderate Democrats are aiming to push through a bill in the state capitol that would suspend the state's gas tax for a year. The Department of Finance says the 51-cent gas tax is expected to rise another 3 cents on July 1st. This bill faces a deadline today to pass the Assembly. Efforts to suspend rules to force a vote on it fell short on Wednesday. Supporters say they have more Democratic support and may try again today by the end of the day. So let's take a look at those current gas prices. According to AAA, the national average price for a gallon of gas is at $4.59 today. California's state average still remaining at that record high of $6.07. Here in Kern County, our average is $6.02. Now, our website will track the lowest prices in the Bakersfield area thanks to GasBuddy.com. Today, the lowest price still $5.29 at the Varsity gas station at the corner of Baker and Bernard. Those prices do change often, though, so to find the lowest price near you, head over to KGET.com.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to KGET.com.